And we're live. Welcome back for another stream. Big stream today. It's double Gameweek 36, and it is the biggest double of the season, right at this tail end of the season. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for being here for this deadline stream. Got just under an hour away until the double Gameweek 36 deadline. Exciting one this. We've got 4 games kicking off at 3 PM today. So we'll keep an eye out for leaks and all that sort of thing as well. We already have a Crystal Palace leak, so I'll share that with you shortly. I've got the starting 11, so I'll let you know the key players starting and missing and so on. As always, tag me in the photo on Twitter, wherever you're watching from around the world, and I'll retweet it. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Good to have you all here. Looking forward to this one. My triple captain is active. Got it on Salah. Who's buzzing for the game week? We got Vishnu in the chat, Milos, Will and E. Good to see you, Will. You ready for this week, Will? Big week, big game week for Will and E. He's doing a mini league with the other YouTubers, and the loser has to pay for a holiday to Cornwall. So there's a lot on the line. About 5 game weeks ago, he was thinking about selling Son, and I told him don't do it. And he kept hold of Son, and it's close. It's close between them all. Welcome to the stream, everyone. H-Bomb says Coutinho to Foden for a hit. No, I don't think I would do Coutinho to Foden for a hit. Coutinho's got back-to-back doubles, so I don't think that's a sensible move. And obviously Foden played 120 in the Champions League, so perhaps he's benched for one game, makes a cameo off the bench. Max says burn the transfer or Havertz to Coutinho or Foden. No, I don't think it's worth burning. I would consider the Coutinho move, I think, between those two. In terms of the remainder of the season, Coutinho will have high predicted points purely because he's got extra games. Especially Game Week 37, you could even make the case for captaining him in 37 over some other players like Salah. So I think I would do the Coutinho move rather than burn the transfer. Suzanne says, do you think Rodrigo will start even one game out of the 2? Is this Leeds Rodrigo? I imagine he will, yeah. I mean, they're missing Bamford. He's out with injury, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if Rodrigo starts. But he's not a good FPL pick, to be honest with you. Bombat says, hello Oscar, Pookie or Dennis? Pookie. And Colo says, is Mahrez an asset? Mahrez is definitely an asset, yeah. I really rate Mahrez for this week. He came off early in the Champions League, while some of his teammates obviously played 120. It's possible that Mahrez makes a cameo in one of the games off the bench, but I think he's a really, really good pick, I'll be honest. Will says, absolutely not. He's gone for Roberts and Gelhardt to Nketiah and Williams benched and bottled the bench boost. We pray. We'll have to see. Hopefully it comes off, Will. Nketiah is a good pickup, to be honest with you. Williams, we'll have to see, but I remember he didn't have much to work with. He had like 0.1 mil in the bank or something, right? But I love the Nketiah pick. If anyone's got the option to move for Nketiah, I would definitely consider it if you've got no other pressing moves. In terms of the Palace league, maybe we could start there. In a nutshell, it's going to be Edouard that starts for Crystal Palace today. Take this with a pinch of salt, obviously, as always. But Mateta's not in the starting 11. Nor's Guaita. It's going to be Butland in goal for Crystal Palace today. So a bit of early news there. Zaha starts, if there's any Zaha owners. Some Everton news. Richarlison got a bit of a sore ankle from the ankle he twisted at Liverpool. That's been around since then, but hopefully he'll be fine, he says. So I don't think it's too much to worry about with Richarlison. I brought him in this game week. I think he starts both. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. I'll put it that way. I think he's a great pick with those back-to-back doubles. Some Arsenal news. Ben White is in contention. He will train tomorrow. This was yesterday that he said this, so hopefully Ben White trains today. Everyone else is okay. Presumably, when he says everyone else is okay, he means Partey. Partey's back. Obviously, Tierney's not. He's out for the season. Maybe Partey's back. Don't know. We'll have to see. But good news for White owners. Looks like there's a chance he's back in time. Someone who might not be back or has picked up an injury is Ramsey from Aston Villa. Gerrard said he's got an issue in training as well. So we're analysing the situation, and he is a big doubt as it stands. Really annoying timing for those that picked up Ramsey, because obviously Villa with the back-to-back doubles, especially a good-looking double in 37. We'll have to see if he's back for that. And in the Champions League, De Bruyne and Walker were subbed off. I think it was about the 72nd minute mark. De Bruyne's was tactical, Pep said, but Walker had an injury. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Perhaps it means that Cancelo is completely nailed for the double. which is good news. I'm probably going to pick him up during this stream. My plan is to sell Robertson for Cancelo, which I'll talk about a bit more later. Jack Milner says, Barnes, Kane and Jimenez to De Bruyne, Richarlison and Pukki for a -4. This is one of those where it's got massive upside because you're bringing in huge differentials. De Bruyne and Richarlison, their ownership's going to be really low, so I think both are great picks. But I'm not totally keen on selling Kane, if I'm honest. So it's one of those, if you want to protect your rank and, you're happy where you are, then I don't think I would sell Kane. I considered the same move myself. I was looking at doing Kane and Kulusevski to something like Richarlison and De Bruyne, and I decided against it, basically. I think you're going to get to Gameweek 38 and you're going to wish you had Kane again when they play Norwich. Hell of a fixture. Not sure for a -4 either, so you could just do something like Jimenez to Pukki, or if you don't have Nketiah, I would rate him even higher than Pukki. But yeah, it's one of those. It depends on your season goals, your ambitions, where you are in the ranks, and if you're chasing a mini-league. Peter says, is it worth bringing in Schmeichel, Laporte, Nketiah and Richarlison for Sanchez, Ramsey, Rodriguez and Broja for a -12? I'll use the bench boost. I actually think, yes, it's worth it. It's never great when you're taking a -12 because realistically your bench could get you something like 18, 20. That would be a decent return, so it's going to eat away a lot of those bench points. But if you look at the players you're getting rid of, I think it's worth it. Rodriguez, terrible pick for this week. Ramsey might not play. Broja might not play. Sanchez has one game, so I think that's about as justified as -12s go, Pete. So I would do it, mate. That's a good move. I would probably make a very similar move if I was on a bench boost and had a few fires to put out like you do. Simrad says, Robert Coutinho, Mateta, Delap to Tavares, Gordon, Jesus and Richard. Oh, there's a lot of -12s this week. Robert Coutinho, Mateta and Delap to Tavares, Gordon, Jesus and Richarlison for -12. I don't know about this one. You're selling Robertson and Coutinho, which has a lot of potential to go wrong. Especially Coutinho. I think Mateta and Delap, those are problems. And obviously Jesus and Richarlison are good picks, but you're funding those by the Gordon downgrade. I don't think that's worth a -12, Simram. I would look elsewhere. Maybe go Mateta to Nketiah if you don't have him. But Delap's obviously an issue as well. The best two budget forwards are probably Nketiah and Pukki, I would say, if you can reach to them. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I don't think that's worth a -12. Oblivious says, K. Coutinho, Amati and Broja to Richarlison, Foden, Cancelo and Nketiah for a -12. So many -12s, holy. On a bench boost, planning to free hit 37. Also, captain Salah Coutinho. I think Salah's the best captain to answer that question. And again, I'm not totally keen on selling Kane as part of -12. Likewise, Coutinho. I don't think it's worth it. I know you're going to be on a bench boost, but I think you have to look elsewhere. It's got potential to go horribly wrong selling Coutinho and Kane as part of -12. I don't know what you guys in chat think, but I would look at other ways to get Nketiah in. Nketiah for Broja makes perfect sense. Amati makes sense to get rid of him. But yeah, I don't think I'd be selling Kane and Coutinho. I considered it, but decided I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth it. Karthik says, sell Havertz and Wood for Foden and Richarlison for Mahrez and Pukki. Hang on, Havertz and Wood for Foden and Richarlison. So it's Foden and Richarlison or Mahrez and Pukki. I like the first one more. I assume you can't afford Mahrez and Richarlison. I would say that's the best combination. But yeah, I'd say the first one looks best there. Am I caught up in chat? Almost. Another Oscar. Oscar says, Richarlison, Cancelo and Schmeichel in for Ramsdale, Van Dijk and Weghorst for a -4. Richarlison, Cancelo, Schmeichel for Ramsdale, Van Dijk and Weghorst. I like those moves, actually. Yeah, Arsenal, they just don't look like keeping a clean sheet. It's been about 6 or 7 games since Ramsdale last kept one. Getting rid of Van Dijk's not ideal, but Cancelo, a decent replacement, maybe a small upgrade even. And Richarlison for Weghorst makes perfect sense. Looks good, Oscar, I would do it. Adam, how are we doing? He's on the bench boost and he's going Charles, Laporte, Mount, Maddison and Weghorst. Hang on. Charles, Laporte, Mount and Madison. And Weghorst... Right, got it now. So Schär to Laporte, Mount to Madison, and Weghorst to Nketiah for a -8. And you're free hitting in 37. Do you have to downgrade Madison, Mount to Madison for that? Because I would avoid the Mount downgrade if possible. I think that could come back to bite you, that one. I mean, Chelsea got great fixtures. Double game week now, and then it's back-to-back home games, Leicester and Watford. So I'm not sure about the Mount downgrade, but if it's the only way you can do it, then I would say do it, because Schär probably won't play. Weghorst is useless. Right, let's have a quick look at the scout selection for this game week, which is as follows. So in goal, they've got Schmeichel. Back 3 is Trent, Cancelo and Alonso. Midfield 5 is Salah captain, Saka. Rafinha, interesting one, Kulusevski and De Bruyne. Front 2 is Richarlison and Nketiah. What do you think of the team? Only double on Liverpool and double on City, interesting. My free hit draft had Jota thrown in there and Mahrez thrown in there. I think they're both good 1 week punts on a free hit. If anyone is on a free hit, I rate Jota and Mahrez for this week. I like the Richarlison pick. I like Nketiah. De Bruyne makes a lot of sense. I think Mahrez probably scores similarly this week. Suman says, hi Oscar, Ramsey to Gordon for a -4. If you're on a bench boost or you need to start Ramsey or start Gordon as his replacement, then I would say do it, yeah. Mr. Mays, thank you for renewing the membership for 3 months. Appreciate that. He says, would you have Nketiah and Sessegnon or Pukki and Tavares? If Reguilon's out, then I would go with the first one, Nketiah and Sessegnon. I think I prefer that. Yeah, option 1 would be my pick there. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. We've got 1,077 watching. If you're enjoying the stream, do like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Massively appreciated. Keep your questions coming. Dimitri says 11 in the bank. 11 mil in the bank? Surely not. Schär and Wood out. Whom to get in? Can't get Nketiah. You're already 3 Arsenal. Pukki and Dennis could be. Is that 1.1 mil in the bank? Surely don't have 11 mil in the bank, right? That's the most money I've ever seen in the bank. 1.1 mil in the bank. Schär and Wood out. So Wood to Pukki makes a lot of sense. And likewise, getting rid of Schär makes a lot of sense. Davies is a good pick. I would say Tavares, but he tripled up on Arsenal. Trying to think of any other options around that price range. Can you afford Mikalenko from Everton? He's 4.9 mil, I think. And obviously Everton have decent back-to-back doubles for Everton. Leicester, Watford this week. Brentford, Crystal Palace next week. Especially 37, both games at home. I would do Wood to Pukki. And then Schär to Davies makes sense. Mikalenko, if you can afford him. Digne, if you can afford him, is a good option. Back-to-back doubles. But I like the Davies pick. Looks good for minutes. Oh, I've just spilled Pepsi down myself. Monkey Man in the chat, he says, what's the consensus on Gabriel Jesus? He did come off early in the Champions League. If I was to guess, I would say he starts both, but comes off early in one game. So I think he's a good pick. But that isn't to say for 37 and 38 he starts. So he's a risky pick, certainly. I would say that. I rate Richarlison higher for cheaper, basically. And he has more predicted points for the rest of the season. In fact, I think after Kane, Richarlison is second among forwards for predicted points for the rest of the season. Also, 11 mil after selling Schär and Wood. So, how much is Pukki? 5.9? 6.1. So 11 minus 6.1 is 4.9. Yeah, so you could go Pukki and Mikalenko. If you're going to start whoever you bring in Schär's place, then I would go Mikalenko. Back-to-back doubles for him. And I think you can afford that bang on. if I'm not mistaken. Depends what your selling price for Wood is, but yeah, I think you can afford that with exact money. So Pukki and Mikalenko would be what I do there. Clement says Laporte or Diaz. Diaz. The reason being, Stones is out at the moment, and he's the only right-footed centre-back. And Pep likes to play with right-footed centre-backs in right centre-back and vice versa. So I think Diaz... I think Laporte's going to be nailed for the double as well, but there is the option of Ake. If Pep wanted to line up something like Zinchenko, Ake, Diaz, Cancelo, for example. Matty says, hey Oscar, I'm doing a bench boost and I want to sell Forster, Mateta and Saiss for Schmeichel and Nketiah and Matip. What do you think? Mateta, definitely. Saiss, definitely. Schmeichel and Nketiah and Matip. I think those three moves actually make perfect sense. All three are upgrades. Mateta, my understanding, is going to be benched today. Edouard starts. Mateta benched. Or possibly not even in the squad. So, Nketiah, excellent move. Matip, excellent move. And then Schmeichel, I would say he's... I'd say he's on par with Pickford, but I think he's an excellent pick as well for this week. Yeah, good moves, Matty. Go for it. Lock it in. Carla says, I'm chasing 35 points in the mini-league, so Kane and Martinelli to Nketiah, De Bruyne for a -4, or Martinelli, Sarr to Gordon and Pickford and keep Kane as Salah captain. So I like going Kane to KDB if you're chasing. It's one of those moves that I'd only consider if I'm chasing because it has potential to go wrong. Horribly wrong, especially in Gameweek 38. But I suppose you have the option to go KDB to Son if you don't have him in 38. The other option is Martinelli and Sarr to Gordon and Pickford. Basically, in a nutshell, the first combination is the one that's chasing, and 35 points is quite a lot to make up, so I think it has to be the option one. Gordon and Pickford aren't going to get you the points to make up that ground, in my opinion. So I think it has to be the first combination there. Cesar said, would you keep Sam Greenwood in or Gelhardt for a bench boost? I'm already taking a -4 and don't want to take a -8 to get rid of one. Well, the thing is, Greenwood and Gelhardt, or Greenwood certainly is going to get you 0 points this game week. Gelhardt might get you 1 point, maybe 2 off the bench. So you're bringing a player that you feel can score 4 more than them. And I imagine there's plenty of forwards, depending on what you can afford, that are going to play 90 in both, which is 4 minimum points, and have the potential to get a goal or an assist. Such as Nketiah, if you can find an extra mil. I think it's worth it on a bench boost. It's a shame to bench boost someone that's going to get you nothing, in a nutshell. So if anyone's in a similar situation where you've got players that literally won't play, like if I was on a bench boost this week, if I needed to, I'd be taking a -12 to get rid of Doherty. You know, say if I had Doherty and Tierney here, and I already was taking a -4 elsewhere, I'd still take 2 extra -4s to get rid of those 2 players that won't play. We like to call it 2-point hits, don't we, when it comes to that? Obviously, it's not always the case, but you're getting a minimum of 2 appearance points more. Sometimes not the case with defenders, but you get the 2 points. It's almost like a 2-point hit rather than a 4-point hit, if that makes sense. Mihaljo says, probably read your name wrong there, sorry. He says, why didn't you put Kulu over Pukki? I rate Pukki to score better than Kulu. It's close. I think actually it's between Gordon and Kulu. Pukki, I think, is out of the equation here with the benching decision. So, yeah, I think I trust Pukki to do better, and likewise Gordon to do better between those. Ludwig says, will DCL play? Hard to say. I think probably not. I imagine he'll be benched. I think Lampard's going to line up similarly. Certainly it worked last game and they got a huge win, so I think if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Sig says, isn't Nketiah a rotation risk? There is a risk there, but his numbers have been so much better than Lacazette's. He's a lot more direct, shoots more, whereas Lacazette was more of a playmaker involved in the link-up, in the build-up. So I think it's Nketiah's spot to lose, honestly. So I think that what makes him such a good pick. And they priced him at the start of the season relative to where he was in the pecking order. And the start of the season, it was Aubameyang, then Lacazette. And then Nketiah, him and Balogun, about the same. So 5.5 mil they priced him at. If Aubameyang and Lacazette had left the last transfer window before the season started, then Nketiah probably would have been 7.5. So it kind of is testament to where his real value is. And next season, if he's still around, I imagine he'll get quite a price increase. But I also think Arsenal signed a striker or two. Test says, hi from Japan. How teams would be go if bench boost? Oh, I don't understand that question. How teams would be if go bench boost? Does anyone know what that question means? Sorry, I'm struggling to understand that one. I'll have to come back to that one. If anyone can translate, let me know. Shai says, bring in Saka instead of Ramsey, but need to free up funds. So Robertson to Matip or James to Tavares. So I love the Ramsey to Saka upgrade, but I need to free up funds. So Robertson to Matip or James to Tavares. I think I like the first option more. It'd be a shame to hop off a Liverpool defender and Matip will actually stay on that. And I actually think there's a good chance that Robertson misses one of these 2 games. He's played non-stop recently. Last game week we saw Trent and Salah bench, so no one's immune to a rotation. And Klopp said that he felt Tsimikas deserved to play last game, but he already made 2 changes to the back line, so he basically didn't want to make 3 changes to the back 4. So I think there is a chance that Robbo misses one of these 2 here, so I think that's where you go. But that isn't to say James might get rotated as well. Yeah, going back to test question, I made a free hit 36 video that has the players that I think are the absolute best picks for this week. So give that a watch if you haven't seen that one. Milad says Son or Salah for the triple captain. So in fact, I've got the predicted points here for this game week, courtesy of FPL Review, which are as follows. And top this week is Salah on 13.7 predicted points. Trent is second, 10.4. There's not much to separate the rest of the pack. But you'll notice that Son's on 9, so he is a bit lower. But he is in outstanding form, best form in the league right now. So it's difficult to overlook him, but I do think Salah's the best pick this week. And Salah obviously did have a rest in Gameweek 35, which I think adds to his appeal. Because he looks likely to start both. Hopefully, ideally, plays 90 of both. So I think Salah's the best pick for this game week. FPL Review's got him top. Interestingly, Trent, Cancelo and Saka and De Bruyne all very close on around 10 predicted points. Sal says Mason Mount to Rodrigo. Oh, from City, Rodrigo. Pookie to Richarlison, worth it? No, definitely not worth it. Definitely not. I'd say both of those. Maybe not Richarlison, but I'd say Mason Mount to Rodrigo is a huge downgrade. Pookie to Richarlison's a little bit of an upgrade. I like that move, but I don't think I would do that. No, I don't think that's worth it. Mount could do very well this double game week. So, you know, I would consider that as well. And he's got good fixtures in 37-38. Quick look at the Kings of the game week. It was Son who joined the Kings in game week 35. I think that's the 3rd time Son's been in the Kings this season. There's only 3 slots left for the rest of the season. Who do we think joins the Kings next? Who's going to be the Game Week 36 king? Salah's only been in there once. Bruno's actually been in there twice. Sorry, Salah's been there twice. Bruno's been there twice. Cancelo's been there twice. James has been there twice. I think Son's the only one that's been in there 3 times. Seb Chris says, would you do Mateta and Shaw out for Pookie and Cancelo? Or out for Jesus and Diaz? Pookie and Cancelo makes perfect sense, unless you don't have Nketiah, in which case I would consider Nketiah. But those are 2 very good moves. My understanding is Mateta doesn't start today. It's going to be Edouard starting for Crystal Palace. Butland in goal, no Guaita. Who else? I think it was Will Hughes. Is that right? Hughes? Let me just check the Palace starting 11. I'll share it with you guys. It was Butland, Klein, Anderson, Guay, Ward, Hughes, Eze, Gallagher, Olise, Edouard and Zaha. I think that's going to be the Palace 11 today. Johnny says Son for De Bruyne and Robertson to Cancelo, or alternatively Havertz to Foden or Mahrez. Top of my mini league, but by 4 points. If you're topping mini league, I don't know if I'd be selling Son for De Bruyne. Seems like an incredibly risky pick, because I imagine there's going to be people below you with Son, and they might even captain him in Gameweek 38, so it's got a lot of potential to go horribly wrong. Robertson to Cancelo, I like that move. I'm going to make the same move on this stream shortly. Yeah, my concern is Robertson misses a game, whereas Cancelo looks nailed. So I like the Cancelo move. I don't think I would sell Son for De Bruyne. But if you wanted to sell Havertz, I think Mahrez, between Foden and Mahrez, actually would be my pick there. Tom Ryder says, I was considering Maddison captaincy for a cheeky differential. Is it a good shout or no? I don't think it is. I think there's better options than Maddison. Let me know what you guys in the chat think. I don't think Maddison's going to be the best captain this week. I think there's quite a few better options. As we saw on the predicted points just now, Salah, Saka, Cancelo, Trent, I think are all better options. Victor says, Ben White to Laporte or Alonso / anyone under 6 mil to start alongside Trent, Cancelo and James, or should I get Nketiah for Broja? Right, so I assume you're not on a bench boost, Victor. Because if you are, then the Broja to Nketiah move is just the obvious one there. I'll definitely do that. So Ben White to Laporte, Alonso. It's between Laporte and Alonso. I don't think there's anyone else under 6 mil. I think Alonso, just about. Oh, it's a difficult one. It's between Alonso and Laporte. You've nailed down the right players there. It's between those two, but it's a bit of a coin toss, Laporte or Alonso. I think Laporte's likely to start both this week than Alonso, but Alonso's got so much attacking threat that every game he starts, he's got double-digit potential in him, whereas Laporte, less so. You know, he might get the odd assist here and there, maybe a goal if you're lucky, but then you're counting on luck. TC says, doing a -12 for my bench boost, would you take another one to replace King? In that case, who? For 7 mil on the bank? No, I don't think I'd take a -16. I would call it a day with the -12, I think, and cut your losses there. I mean, realistically, a good bench boost scores 18 to 20 plus. So, you know, if you're taking -12 to your bench, you know, you may barely make a net gain, but I don't think I'd take a -16 on a bench boost, to be honest. Thank you everyone that's tuned in so far. We've got about 1,400 tuned in. If you are enjoying the stream, please do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really appreciate it. I'm grateful for everyone tuning in so far. SK10 here says he's on a free hit. Downgrade De Bruyne to Mahrez to fund Son. I would be very tempted. So I actually made a free hit 36 video. I wonder if I can just pull up the team or not from that video. Might be a bit difficult to do while we're live. Mute that. Let me see if I can just move this there, move that there. Can you see that or not? This is my free hit 36 team, so this is how I'd line up if I was on a free hit. Exactly like this. And I had Mahrez over KDB, so I think Mahrez is actually a really, really good option. And if it funds Son, I think it's worth it. But it depends who you're losing to fund Son. But yeah, I really like the Mahrez pick, and I actually really like the Jota pick. The reason why is, if we look at how Liverpool have lined up for the really important games, so for example the FA Cup semis, the City game, the League Cup final, the favoured front three appears to be Salah, Mane and Diaz. Now after Gameweek 36 they play the FA Cup final. Therefore, I wonder if Diaz gets one rest, Mane gets one rest, Salah's had his rest, so Jota starts both. So that's why I think Jota's a good pick, and likewise I think Mahrez is a good pick. So yeah, I would consider the downgrade to fund Son. Long answer to that question. Ross Wheeler says, please help, 0.1 mil on the bank. Please help me make a bench boost. He's got Ramsdale, Foster, Alonso, Trent, Laporte, Shah, Amati, Ramsey, Foden, Cooley, Salah, KDB, Kane, Pukki, Richardson. This is a really difficult one because you've got Shah, Amati, Ramsey and Richardson that are all problems, and you've got nothing to spend. I wonder if it's worth bench boosting 37 unless you have your free hit as well. And then you could hope that Ramsey's back. That'd be one less player to deal with. That might be the best way to play it. Because you could do something like KDB to Son and take a -4 or 8 on a couple of other players there, like Shah and Richardson. Maybe Shah will be back. I actually don't think bench boosting this week's the best play there, Ross. Because you're staring at a -12 minimum to right size that. Because we've got nothing in the bank. If you had a bit in the bank, then there'd be a few options, you know, like Richardson to Nketiah. Shah you could move to Tavares. I think they're the same price, or I think you can afford it with the extra 0.1 mil. Amati probably doesn't start both. Richardson won't play at all. So yeah, I would consider the bench boost 37 instead, just because you're looking at a -12 minimum to fix that. Faris says, is it worth to transfer in Matip for Robertson or Diaz for Laporte for a -4 or neither? In my case, I've got no City, and I'm going to be selling Robertson for Cancelo. So that's what I'm planning to do. I don't think it's worth a -4 for Diaz, Laporte or Matip, personally. So I wouldn't take the -4. And Robertson could still do very well, even if he misses one this double. They've got Southampton and then Wolves. Wolves who've been shocking attacking this season. Southampton, they've always got it in them to be rolled over, so you never know. I would keep hold of Robbo, wouldn't take the -4. Darshan says he's looking for a nailed 4.4 mil defender for Cathcart. Bench boost is active, no free hit 37. Also, is Roberts? So to answer the first question, I think Tavares is the best defender for 4.4 mil or less. He says also, is Robbo, Havertz, Cathcart to Trent, Diaz, and Gordon worth a -12? Not worth a -12. To answer the first question, I would say Tavares is the best option there. I'm struggling to keep up with chat today. Keep the questions coming. Ashik says, Burrier to Nketiah or Vegas to Richarlison, Kulusevski to Gordon and Ben White to Laporte for a -8. I would do the Richarlison route. Cooley to Gordon. Yeah, I get it. I can understand it. It's not great to sell Cooley, but I get it. Ben White to Laporte, I like that as well. I would do the Richarlison route, not the Nketiah route. Yeah, I would do the Richarlison route there. Kamara says, will Matip play both? Yes, I think he will. I think El Padrino, good to see you, mate. How you doing? I think Konate is the favoured, well, this season certainly, he's been the favoured centre-back in the cup games and Matip in the league games. So, yes, I would say he plays both. Vasu says, 2 transfers and 1 free hit remaining. Schmeichel, James, Trent, Robbo, Laporte, Cancelo, Kulu, Mount Salah, Havertz, Foden, Pukki, Forster, Gelhardt and Camera. 2 transfers and a free hit. So your back 4... or back 5 looks fine. Midfield, Salah, Kulu, Mount. Difficult one. I would probably go Havertz to Saka here. I think I'd play the back 5. Havertz to Saka. And then play a 5-4-1. I think you're going to have to bench Kulu. So it'd be a 5-4-1. James, Trent, Robertson, Laporte, Cancelo, Mount Salah, Saka, Foden, and then Pukki. If you can afford a second transfer, I would go Gelhardt to Nketiah. That's probably what I would do. And then free hit in 37. Elliot says, Gelhardt to Richarlison, but I need to do cash to an Everton defender or Mount to Coutinho for a -4 to free up 0.1 mil. Prepping for a bench boost. For a -4. I think cash to the Everton defender. Just about edges it there. And I would go Mykolenko. I think he's probably the best Everton defender. Gelhardt to Richarlison, that's a great move. I think cash to Mykolenko. It's not great to be selling cash or Mount, I'll be honest. But if I had to pick between those, I would go cash to Mykolenko. Zubin says, would you sell Dewsbury Hall to Odegaard or Gray for a bench boost, for a hit on a bench boost? Yeah, I'd be very tempted to go for Odegaard between those two, but Gray's a good pick as well. Unless you needed to start... Maybe you can make the case for Gray because he's got back-to-back doubles. It's just, does he start both? Or does Calvert-Lewin get a start and then maybe Gray's the one who drops out? It looks like Gordon's the more assured one for starts between him and Gray. But yeah, I would make the move. I'm just not sure which I prefer out of Odegaard and Gray. What do you guys in chat think? Odegaard or Gray? I like Odegaard much more as a player, but Gray does have back-to-back doubles, so it's a tricky one. I think I'd still go Odegaard, just about. Right, where did I get to? Did that one. Darshan sells Holgate or Fofana instead of Tavares. If I had to pick between those two, I would go Holgate, but I'm not sure what the chances are of Holgate and Fofana getting 2 starts. But I think it would have to be Holgate between those. Is that because you're tripled up on Arsenal? Because I rate Tavares much, much higher than those two. Mr. Mays says he's done the -12. Wish me luck. Bold -12. I think you had no choice, Mr. Mays. It's one of those where you're on the bench boost, so you have to make the moves. Otherwise, you know, the chip is completely wasted. You've got to play for the points, right? You've got to chase that upside. Right then, if anyone's not in the fplfocal Discord, I'll chuck a link in chat. We'll have a look at the captain poll results now. That's the link. Go join it there. Genuinely good FPL resource, the old Discord. We've got things like the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live scores, we've got the live points, we've got the bonus points, Gameweek stats, injury updates, top 10k stats, insider trading, and all sorts. This week, the captain poll results are as follows. Salah, well out in front, 355 votes. De Bruyne second with 65 votes. Elsewhere, there's not much in it. I think other is actually the third most popular pick with 33 votes. Son's got 18. So's Cancelo. Saka's got 14. Interesting. It does look like Salah's going to have pretty high effective ownership. If I was to guess, I'd say about 150%. Abedi says, hi Oscar, bench boost is active. Is it worth a -8 to remove Broja to Pedro? You've got Dennis and Richarlison. No, it's not worth it. If you can afford Nketiah instead, that's worth it, but not Pedro. Definitely not worth it. I wouldn't do it. Julio says, Schmeichel and Gordon for Sarr and Bruno, Guimaraes, or Matip and Gordon for Dyer and Bruno, both from -4. Which one should I do? I think I prefer the first option more. Schmeichel and Gordon in for Sarr and Bruno. I would do that. Not much in it, because Dyer's got a bad double, so has Sarr, but I think I would do the Schmeichel route there, between those. Darshan says, triple Arsenal. Okay, fair enough. Havertz and Cathcart to Rafinha and Diaz. I'm not keen on Rafinha, I'll be honest. It's not a great double for Leeds. Diaz I like, but not Rafinha. But I'm trying to think of other good options in that price range. I can't remember if you said you had Coutinho a lot or not, but I think I like Coutinho more for a similar price. I think this week even Gordon's a better pick than Rafinha. I would back Gordon to score higher than Rafinha. I like the Diaz pick, but I wouldn't take a -8 for that. Mark says, Robbo, Doherty, Pukki to Cancelo, Mina and Nketiah for a -4. Robbo, Doherty, Pukki to Cancelo, Mina and Nketiah for a -4. I don't think I would do that either. Pukki, I think, is a great pick for this week. I think among the forwards, he was like 3rd on predicted points, so I don't think this is the week to sell him. It plays against It plays against West Ham off the back of their Europa League defeat. They played on Thursday. Interestingly, Smith read that he wants his boys to play with freedom, and he wants to see that. So, yeah, they're at the point where they've got nothing to lose, and perhaps we see a performance or two from Norwich and for the rest of the season. So I think Pukki's one to keep. Robbo, I can understand selling. I'm going to do Robbo to Cancelo shortly on this stream. Remind me if I forget. Doherty to Cancelo. Sorry, Doherty to Mina. If you can afford it, I think I like Mykolenko more. Mina's just come back from injury. Big rotation risk. Probably starts both, but he has only just come back. So it seems a little bit risky. But I wouldn't sell Pukki to Nketiah for a -4. Johnny says, so Mahrez over Foden. Cancelo to Robertson locked. Yeah, I prefer Mahrez over Foden. Honestly, I do. I mean, realistically, Mahrez and Foden, they could play 1.5 games each. And if you knew for a fact that Mahrez and Foden were going to play 1.5 games each, then you would say Mahrez has the highest ceiling, wouldn't you? He's such an explosive player. I think he's got 6 double-digit hauls this season, and he's not even played that much. Right, 15 minutes till the deadline. Let's have a quick look if we've got any early news, any leaks, whatnot. Let's see. Probably not. If we get anything, I imagine it'll be very close to the deadline. Nothing at the moment. Keep the questions coming. We've got 15 minutes till the deadline. We'll have a quick look at who the most transferred players are this week. Starting with the most transferred in, which is Nketiah, who's been brought in by 365,000 managers. He's overtaken Jesus, who was previously higher. Richarlison's 3rd, Gordon's 4th. A lot of these picks make a lot of sense. I mean, Jesus has potential to go wrong, but I think he's not a bad pick. Schmeichel, back-to-back doubles. Decent double game week for Leicester this week. It's going to be interesting to see how Leicester do after European defeat, because now they have absolutely nothing to play for and in terms of other cups besides potentially European football if they can get there. But yeah, they haven't got much to play for now. Saka's up there. Dennis, don't remind me about Dennis. Most transferred out. White is top. Over 200,000 have sold him. Ramsey's up there. Imagine a lot of people have gone Ramsey to Gordon. Tony, Kane. Kane. Kane has one. I feel like that has potential to go horribly wrong as well. So does the Coutinho move. Maybe not this week, but imagine if 37. They're selling Coutinho. Could get burnt by that one, but we'll have to see. Oh, sorry, Giacomo. Let me scroll up and see if I can spot it. He asks, would Sarr and Barnes to Foden, Schmeichel and Richarlison for a -8 plus a bench boost? So Wood to Richarlison. I love that if there's a way that you can fund that. But Sarr and Barnes to Foden and Schmeichel. I think that's just about worth it, Giacomo. Just about. All 3 are decent upgrades. Barnes, I didn't watch the game, but apparently he was poor in the Europa Conference League again. I think he was subbed early. So I can totally understand the temptation to get rid of Barnes despite a decent double, despite back-to-back doubles. Wood makes perfect sense to sell. Sarr, Wolves just look shocking. They're not giving clean sheets anymore. I think you can justify that one. That's a good -8. As far as -8s go, I like it. Yeah, go for it, mate. Anorak says he's on a bench boost. Sharwood and Broja. You can get in Fofana and Nketiah. You've got 6.7 mil for the 3rd striker. Okay, you already got Pukki. Or I can go Son to Kulu, which allows me to go Shah to Cancelo and Wood to Richarlison. I don't think I would sell Son to Kulu. I mean, look at the form Son's been in. It seems crazy to be selling Son right now. I think that one's overthinking it a bit. I think you were right with the first suggestion. 6.7 mil for a third striker. And Nketiah, 5.6 mil I think would be where I go there. Even ahead of Pukki if you didn't have Pukki. But what was the question? What to do with Wood and Broja? Because Wood and Broja are both problems this week, right? So I'm struggling to see how you can fund Richarlison because you've got Shah as well. It might be a case of you just have to stick with Broja. Maybe you could sell Shah for someone like Tavares for a similar price, or if you can afford a bit more, maybe someone like Mikolenko, Digne. They both got back-to-back doubles, something like that. Sokel H says, what happened to your Jota punt? Jota was in the free hit draft, but not on my main team. I had no way to get him in here. Maybe I could sell Cooley for him or something like that, but it didn't feel worth it. I have sold Weghorst for Richarlison. That was my first move. I'm going to make my second move shortly, which is going to be Robertson to Cancelo. In fact, I'll do that now because I need to tweet it before the deadline. As always, share the team with the followers. If anyone's not following me, by the way, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I post there almost daily. Certainly on Twitter, I'm posting daily. And then every video or graphic I make, I post on Instagram as well. So it's Cancelo to Robertson. It is a -4, unfortunately. Let me just double check. There's no more late news or anything I've missed. Doesn't look like it. Doubt we'll get anything at this late hour on Liverpool or Man City. Let's confirm transfers. Done. So this is me for this game week. Let's take a screenshot of that. There we go. Right. What game week is it? Game week 36. Rank is, what's my rank? 3.9k. What did I do? Weghorst to Richarlison. And Robertson to Cancelo. Triple captain active on Salah. Done. Oh, sorry, no voice. Yeah, to answer your question, Cray, I did read it out loud, but to answer your question, I would go Diaz and Richarlison and Nketiah. The first option would be what I'd do there. Conrad says, would you do Robertson to Alonso or Laporte or stay put? So I've gone Robertson to Cancelo. I don't think it's worth Alonso or Laporte. In my case, I had no Man City, so I felt like I needed to get at least one Man City player as well. So that's what I've done. I've gone Robertson to Cancelo. I don't think I would do Alonso or Laporte personally. Maybe if you can do it for free, but... Marta says, is Mateta benched? Yes, my understanding is that he will be benched. It's going to be Edouard that starts. Zaha starts. Guaita benched for Butland. King Grave says, Guaita to Sanchez from -4. If you're on a bench boost, then I can understand the temptation to sell Guaita. Because my understanding is that he doesn't play today. But did Brighton even double? I forget if Brighton double this week. I don't think they do they? So therefore, logically, wouldn't you go for someone like Foster instead for cheaper and has a double? That's what I would do. Just going to, if possible, Thank you so much for the questions or the super chats. But I'm going to keep an eye out for leaks as well. So I'm going to be refreshing a lot. So I might not be able to keep as close of an eye on the chat. But keep the questions coming. Bench Foden, Tom North says. Definitely wouldn't bench Foden. Sigurd says, size to Diaz or Matip from -4. Bench boost him. Between those two, I would go Diaz. Rafa says, Mateta for Nketiah from -4. Yes, I would do it. Hajir says, Pukki and Coutinho or Gordon on the bench. That's really tough. I think Coutinho, just about. It's between Coutinho and Gordon for me. I would say Coutinho, just about. Not much in that one. Gordon's just been phenomenal recently, and he's the absolute perfect enabler if you're on a bench boost. I'm very envious of anyone on a bench boost because he's good enough to be starting. Suhab says, Kulusevski versus Richarlison. Richarlison. 5 minutes till the deadline. I'm going to keep refreshing in case we get any last minute news or leaks or whatnot or anything like that. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. If you did enjoy the stream, please do hit like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Appreciate you all being here. Been an enjoyable stream. I think I saw Adam in the chat. Shout out to Adam if you're still here, mate. Joxair says triple captain option. Triple captain, this is the top predicted points for this game week. So if I was on a triple captain, I would consider one of those. Salah's top this week. This is FPL Reviews predicted points. Trent, Cancelo and Saka, not much to separate them. De Bruyne's a good option. I think Son's a good option. There's quite a few decent options there. I would consider those. Before I forget again, back in December, Jack Taylor asked me to wish him a happy birthday on one of my streams. That was about 6 months ago, and I forgot. And he reminded me again recently. So happy birthday, Jack, for December. Sorry I missed it. Hopefully I'll remember this December. Tatenda says I can go Foster to Mendy from -4. Is it worth it? No, I don't think it's worth a -4. Foster's got a double game week as well, so I don't think I would do it. Nick in the chat, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Jack says opinions on Gray. I think he's not a bad pick at all, but I think there's no reason not to go to Gordon instead, right? Because I would say Gordon and Gray are about equals, so therefore logically Gordon I would say is a better pick. Shabam, thanks for the donation. There was no message with that one, but thank you for that. Appreciate that. Paredes says Kulu versus Foden. Foden. Sheriff says Coutinho and Havertz to Son and Gordon. That's actually not bad, those two moves. What do you guys think about that one? Coutinho and Havertz to Son and Gordon. I'd be very tempted because Gordon has back-to-back doubles. So, you know, in that respect, it's the same as Coutinho. I imagine Coutinho's got slightly higher predicted points over the next two. The problem is, with these questions, players like Havertz, it ultimately comes down to their minutes. If Havertz starts all of the next three, then it's Havertz all day, and I wouldn't do it. But I wonder if Chelsea rotate heavily for the Leeds game, the second of their double. Because they have Wolves, and then Leeds, and then in between 36 and 37 is the FA Cup final. So you'd imagine Chelsea rotate heavily for that Leeds game. So therefore, I think that's actually a justified move. And I think Son's a great option. Steve says, Bowen or White? Love the content. Thanks, Steve. Bowen. Bowen for me between those two. Unless we... I don't think we have any news on whether White's going to be good to go or not. I think it's going to be a late test. I think yesterday Arteta said that he'll decide today. After training, whether or not White is good to play or not. Salah or Son? In my opinion, Salah, but Son's a great pick as well. I think this is the week. It's you know, a good opportunity to take one last real punt against the masses if you're chasing a mini league or a ranked target. Craig says start Havertz or Coutinho. Well, I think Havertz. I imagine Havertz gets one start and a cameo in the second, but Coutinho's got a bad double. Burnley away, Liverpool at home. I think Havertz. White to Tavares for a -4. No, I wouldn't do it. Jesus for Richarlison. No, I don't think I'd do that either. You can make that move in 37. Not this week. One minute till the deadline. Final reminder to check your team, bench in the right order, captain on the right player. If you have enjoyed this stream so far, please do hit like on it. Unfortunately today, I'm not going to be able to stick around for much longer. It's a friend's birthday, so I'm literally jumping straight on a train, going into London in about 10 minutes. Bench Gordon or Cooley? Well, I've benched Cooley, so that answers that one. And I think that is it. I think that's the deadline. past. Thank you everyone so much for tuning into this stream. Like I say, I'm not going to be able to stick around today. I didn't want to not do a stream, but I'm going to have to shoot straight away for a friend's birthday. I'm just having a look if there's anyone we can raid who's live at the moment. Let me know if there's anyone you can see who's live that we could potentially go over and say hello to. Who's live? FPL Dennis? We'll go and raid FPL Dennis's stream. I'll chuck the link in the chat.
But I think that Richarlison is... Yeah.
Let me mute the stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Do hit like on the stream if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We'll head over to FPL Dennis's stream. Tell him FPL Focal sent you. See you soon for the next one. Focal out.